Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another video. This is Peter, my husband, as you guys know. And today we're going to do something a little bit different, kind of like a podcast style. We're obviously very new at this, so please forgive us if it's not that great today. But anyways, today, as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about red flags in dating. So I wanted to get a guy's perspective. So I've been talking to Peter about it. And so, Peter, can you give us your first red flag?
I think one of the initial things that I would say I care about is being on time. And I know that sounds really petty, but for me, I think that's actually a good indicator of a part of the character. And it's not a perfect indicator, obviously. If you're like 5 minutes late, of course there's grace. Even 10 minutes late, of course there's grace. But if you're 20 minutes late and you didn't even send a text letting me know that you were going to be late, I think that's going to, personally for me, I feel like that's going to set a precedence for kind of how you are with your words. Like, hey, I promise something and I don't deliver, which in marriage now that I've been married for a little bit, I realize how important that is. So that would be my first red flag.
Like, I feel like it is like a red flag, but also like it's your first meeting and just kind of giving them also the benefit of the doubt might be important. If I went on a date and a guy was late, I would keep that in the back of my mind, because
Yeah.
maybe that excuse was legit. So I guess you just don't know. But yeah, it's just something, it is like a red flag that comes up that you just need to be observant of for the future.
Yeah, I think it's cumulative, right? And so just because you have this one experience doesn't mean you completely, put off the person. But I think if that on top of some of these other red flags come up, then I think that's a pretty good indication of for you to consider, think twice about the situation.
My first red flag is a guy that is not able to say no or is too nice. I think all of the guys I did are actually really good guys. They're very like nice, kind people, but I think sometimes that became a problem because it's like if you're so nice, you're kind of a people pleaser,
Yeah.
and so like the way that you're perceived is really important, which I think is a really important too, but it shouldn't come at the expense of your relationships, and you should be able to prioritize. Like I want to feel like I'm a priority.
Yeah, if you don't have like good boundaries, then they're not like, for example, if you have a problem with like his parents and he doesn't know how to say no or set good boundaries, then you're gonna suffer, and you feel that subconsciously, right?
Yes. I think when you're just dating a nice guy in the beginning, it could be fine. But like Peter said, when life comes at you and there's boundaries that need to be set with other people or even with me, you know, me, the partner, I think it's really important to have somebody that can put their foot down in like a kind way, and not just be so swayed by other people just because they want to look good in front of them. Yeah.
I think though, one of the things that girls subconsciously understand is that if you don't have a man who knows how to protect their family, how to protect their own, if you don't have someone who can say no, and like for example, we've had a couple of situations where we had like kind of some salesmen trying to like sell us something that maybe we don't need. If you have a person who's just like always like a yes, then people are going to take advantage of you. And I feel like maybe girls can subconsciously feel like, hey, if you don't have a person who can protect our family and be able to set hard boundaries, then we're going to be taken advantage of as a family unit. Would you say that's maybe a part of it?
Yes, I don't think I realized how important this was until I got married. Like I knew it was important because I've dated guys who, couldn't say no and it kind of impacted our relationship negatively. But I think now that I'm married, there's so many things that, Peter is able to say no on, to protect like our family unit and, our values so that, we're not easily influenced by outside factors.
My next one would be someone who negatively talks about other people. I understand that there is some level of venting that is, I guess, okay in certain situations, especially if someone really took advantage of you or you had a really traumatic situation. But I think there's also people who just simply just talk poorly of others. And if any of you guys have ever read the books, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, it's actually not a good look on you when you talk negatively about other people. Because number one, when you talk negatively about other people, you put negative traits to other people, that's putting negative traits on you. Like that actually reflects more on you. And it doesn't look good, to be honest. And a lot of this happens on a subconscious level. Even like amongst friends, sometimes you feel like you're getting closer by talking bad about other people. But what you're actually doing is you're putting negative traits on each other. And the second thing that happens is that you then feel like when you turn around, this person's talking bad about you. And it's not a good feeling. And so during some of my dates, I've met some people who, they're great people, but sometimes I've noticed that they would talk really poorly about other people. And for me, that wasn't very attractive. Do you have any comments?
Yes, you could like vent to somebody in like a healthy way, but like if you're just constantly trying to put other people down, I feel like it just says just a lot about you, and it probably not in the best way. Like I had an ex who would talk badly about his friends, and I just never really I didn't understand, because I was like, why are you friends with them then?
Yeah.
Why are you guys talking badly about each other? I think it just breeds like unhealthy relationships, and yeah.
Yeah. And it, again, like then you'll fear that the person's going to be criticizing you in that way, right, during the relationship.
Yeah, and he actually went and talked really badly about me. Like, I mean, to be fair though, because I try to take ownership of my past. I was not healthy emotionally, but I think it was really hurtful to just know that he was talking that badly about me to his friends. And so when I met Peter, something that I had to kind of get used to, but also really appreciated, was that he really spoke highly of his friends and his family, to the point where I was like, this guy is like cocky. But now I just know what kind of person Peter is, and he just speaks really, really highly about other people. I mean, Peter's not perfect, and so sometimes he'll vent to me about certain people, but it's never something that he hasn't said to their face.
And I just want to let you know, like even among my friends know, like even amongst my friends, like I speak very highly of you. Mm-hmm. And I think you could feel that, right? And that's a good feeling. And I think the temptation is, and this is a psychological thing, but the temptation is like you want to criticize someone until they obey and basically change. And I have found that doesn't work a lot of the time. That seems to be when you criticize someone, it actually makes you feel better more than it actually helps the person. One of the better ways I've seen, it's actually from a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the better, more effective ways is you want to speak life into somebody. When they do the dishes or when they do something good for you, then you be very grateful for that and speak life and speak well of them, and they will become more like that person. If you speak death into someone, then the person's eventually going to like seriously die and just not be the person that they've always meant to be.
The next one that I have is a guy. This could sound bad, but a guy that likes his friends like way too much, like where his friends are like a higher priority than you. And I think like in the beginning, it's okay to do that, right? Like we just met. If Peter and I just started dating, like I just met you, like I would like to be your best friend right away, but I'm not, right? Because we just met each other and we're just getting to know each other. But as the relationship progresses and, you guys get more serious, I do feel like the girlfriend or the partner needs to be a higher priority than the friends. But I've dated people who, put kind of me aside and really just prioritized their friends, couldn't say no to their friends, and just wanted to hang out with their friends all the time. And even like also left me out. Like he didn't want me to meet his friends, which I've never really like hung out with my ex's friends. So I was like, I guess used to that. But something I appreciate about Peter is this, like, even from the get-go, he wanted like his friends to hang out with me and like invite like their wives to hang out with all of us.
Girls don't want to feel like they're a burden, or they don't want to feel like second position. They want to feel like they're fun and all those things that they truly desire, to feel important. And when they always want to hang out with their guys, they don't want to hang out with you as much. Then girl, again, that worst version of themselves come out, because then you start messing with their security. And when girls are insecure, the worst version of them come out.
We become that crazy girl.
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to become that crazy girl, especially if you have like attachment issues, which, I definitely had, but Peter has made me a lot more secure just in like who I am and in this relationship. And so, yeah, that's definitely a red flag for me.
So my last red flag, it kind of has to do with the previous red flag, but it's when I'm on a date and the person's kind of being a victim, right? That victimhood mindset. Now, again, there's some traumatic moments, and there's grace in that. And I'm here to listen 100%. But then if there's a pattern of this, like, yeah, my boss did this to me, and then like my friends did this to me, and then my family, they totally abandoned me, and blah 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 blah. That is a victimhood mindset. I used to take hiring classes because we want to make sure we have good people on our team. And that's actually one of the things that to watch out for is that whole, hey, if you're a victim, then they're going to be a victim within your organization, and it's going to be like poisonous to your organization. So again, there is grace, but then if you see patterns of this, like, oh, woe is me, it's not my fault, it's everyone else's fault, and everybody's after you, that is not a good sign, because then how does that translate in marriage, where it's like I will then blame my wife or my partner for all of my problems, and I will never blame myself. And if you don't blame yourself, or if you don't at least like be introspective and see what problems that you have in yourself, then you can never improve. You can never get better. Now, the other partner may be a problem, but you should look at yourself first and see how you can change. And in fact, focus more on that and be a good example rather than trying to figure out how to get your partner to change, if that makes sense. So that would be my last red flag.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I think the last thing I'll say is that I'm so glad I didn't settle, because I know so many people do settle. And I was in my 30s when I got married, and not to say that that's super late. Some people get married in their 40s, and it's fine. It's just I want to make sure that that there were some things that I was not willing to compromise on, such as some of these red flags. And so I would say for those of you guys who are in the dating world, even though it takes a while, and sometimes it can get really exhausting because you're meeting all these people, you're on these dating apps, and it's like, am I ever going to meet the right one? I would say just keep going, and again, make sure to look out for some of these things, because even though the temptation is there to just, I want that security, I want that ring, I think it's better for you to really, really consider some of these. No one's perfect, but consider some of these red and green flags before you get married and commit.
Thank you so much for watching this video. And we hope that, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Okay,
Bye.